Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to yet another edition of the show, Trek Wednesday, Stardate 2016.300 at 22:04 Eastern Standard Time. I am joined here tonight by the greatest panel that ever existed in all of STO history. We are starting here with a return of the greatest Admiral of Irony, the chief of crazy detection of sarcasm, Admiral SarcasmDetector, the chief intel specialist. Thank you very much for joining us back here on the show.
I had to come back. There's two main reasons I had to come back, and I had to come back.
Okay.
Number one, you guys have been too happy on the show recently. Can't have that. It's terrible. And number two, the amount of misinformation, incorrect information that's been coming out of the research and development team. Protius. Tisk. How could you give him such wrong information as a science captain in a science ship?
I know what you're talking about, man.
What is wrong with you? That's not the true way to science. That's garbage.
Hey, go hard or go home.
And speaking of this here, the Chief Research and Development Officer, who definitely says that science is the way, the truth, and the know-how and the DPS this thing. Darth Protius, say hello to everybody out there.
Greetings and salutations.
And I obviously understand that, science for science captains in the science ship will actually science the hell out of everything. Well,
you got to play hard mode, right?
Hey, look who you're talking to. Exactly. We'll go to our chief of cheesy spam Spacebar and get good tactics. The actual, holy heck, did you just move up in the CCA table and did you use a torpedo, Captain SOB?
Yes, I did. And hello, and I just want to say, go tactical or go alt F4.
See, he knows what he's talking about. Good.
Whoa.
You guys need a room? I mean, seriously. If you're going to collaborate like that hard, you might want to get a room first.
But you know what? He did use a torpedo, though, so he did. I'm enjoying this right now. I actually get to sit back over here and kick my heels up. My work is done. It's done. He actually used the torpedo. You're going to have to change that logo now.
Were you using the good torpedo, the anti-proton?
Unfortunately, Cam, I was in an exotic torp build to melt CCA, so I was using the gravimetric torp for the grav rifts because of how much damage they can do.
No, that's okay. I have used the grav torpedo extensively in the past, and I'll give you a pass on this one.
But it's still kinetic damage, bro. Still kinetic damage.
It's
anyway, the man who can put everything together that everybody has ever put out there and make it look so much better on screen, our chief emergency role-playing hologram and chief ship porn extraordinaire, Zeph from ZEFilms.
What's up?
Oh, I saw something you had put out, man, and let me say, what the hell? What in the hell is going on, man?
That was showing off the revamp that Jam's artist from Cryptic did for the Sovereign, which looks really, I like it. There's still some QQ over it because some people prefer the Nemesis skin, and this one is more of a cross between First Contact and Insurrection skin, but I think it looks really dope. The one thing that really stood out the most for me was the deflector, but yeah, we'll talk about that later. We have more important things to talk about tonight.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Let's jump straight into it. Now, our Chief Research and Development Officer here has been doing a lot of work cataloging some issues that came up on the first patch, and now the patch notes for tomorrow seems to address some of them, but not all of them. Darth Protius, please bring us up to speed.
There are still lots and lots and lots of issues that haven't been touched by those patch notes for tomorrow. And some of the bigger ones for most of the players are all the graphical issues and crash issues that people are having with just the way the graphics are handled on their computers now. And a lot of people are trying every available fix and option and turn this off, turn that on, and a lot of it's still not working. So hopefully we can get some more bug reports into these guys, and they'll take a look at it and see what they can do to fix it for the player base. But one of the biggest issues I have right now is it's blurry. Everything is blurry. It's like soft, dull, toned down, distance based. The only way to fix it is to put it on render scale 3, and that shouldn't be like that. It's not good.
To touch on the driver things that you're talking about, I think it was the people who are using the onboard Intel graphics and the AMD cards. There's actually another maintenance happening tomorrow, and that is actually one of the items that they addressed / will be fixing tomorrow. So hopefully that'll be fixed. Trademark.
Yeah, that one is being addressed, but there's still a lot of people that I've gotten reports from, fleet mates and friends, and people that just come up to say, "Hey, what's going on?" They are running NVIDIA cards and some of the newer high-end NVIDIA cards, like the 970s and the 1070s, and they're still having all sorts of weird glitches and graphical errors, and lots of blurriness and stuff going on that we can't account for. So hopefully they can take a look at their resolution settings maybe and fix that.
Yeah, as the audience will see right now, we are streaming live from the game as well, and I'm on ESD, kind of taking a look at the lighting difference right now with lighting 2.0 enabled. If I turn it off, wow, I can see what you mean by the softness, but the difference between before and after, I think the after is still a lot better.
Oh yeah, the lighting effects are absolutely amazing, and I totally love them. But do me a favor, turn all the lighting back on, and switch to render scale 3, and then see how it looks.
I'm not gonna go render scale 3 while I'm streaming.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah, I still need to get those hard drives, and yeah, but I. This blurry thing that you're talking about, like, I don't know if I notice it so much myself. What are you talking about, blurriness?
Well, I can see it on your screen right there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just prior to this patch, everything was crisp and clean, and the details were there even when you zoomed out. Now, when I'm zoomed in on my character, the lighting itself, if I'm on render scale 1, the lighting itself is bright. And even with the bloom intensity turned down and the brightness turned down, but the detail of the character is blurred and softened, almost like it's dull and muted. And when I zoom out, it makes it even worse. So I'm wondering if it's something to do with their default render scale settings with certain video cards or what's going on, but it's a mess. And the only way to fix it that I've found so far is playing on render scale 3, which I do not recommend if you have a low-end card. Just don't do it.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Just trying to You guys keep going. I'm gonna wander around different places and check out what certain places look like with the new lighting. I think I saw in chat somebody said go to Club 47, so I'm gonna go to Club 47. You guys continue talking.
Well, one question I did have here before, and it was, does anybody notice that when you logged in, it looked like, especially when you land on ESD, that looked like everywhere was like a whole bunch of spotlights flashing on your toon, and it's
Yes.
so whitewashed.
Yes, and that has a lot to do with your bloom intensity and your overall brightness of the game. If you actually turn those down, you'll get more of the softened tones and the lighting the way Alan has it now on screen. But yeah, when I first logged in to ESD, render scale 1 with all the bloom and everything turned up, oh my god, I was blind. I was almost feeling like that Riemann guy in that one episode. Oh, it's too bright.
When I first logged in, I was like, oh, things look a little bit great. Oh, wait, hold on a second. Let me look closer to this. Oh, kind of jagged. Why is everything so like freaking spotlighty? Wow. It was hard. I mean, it was a bit harsh on the eyes and everything, but some things look better, but a couple other things look like they were just seriously flooded with a whole bunch of high beams.
Okay, this irks me. I'm looking out the window of Club 47, and quiz time. How many suns does our solar system have?
1.
Yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
There are 4 lights.
I was going to bring
No.
that up, but since you discovered it,
No! Don't say that, man.
Oh,
we now live in a binary sun system.
by the way,
Just saying.
what you're seeing now, I think, yeah, what you're seeing now when I stop looking at the sun is render scale, not render scale, oh my god, field of view set to 20 when you're in game. Things look a little bit more interesting.
Definitely. looks
SOB,
good.
one thing over here, SOB. Could you please tell me what's missing from the Lobby store? Because I noticed that this was not addressed at all.
We are missing the Jemadar heavy escort carrier.
And why is this important?
It has this really good trait. Some people don't think it's that great, but everyone that's been testing it has had a lot of luck with it. It's basically 2 pen modifiers when TAC teams up, which that's 66% time. So it's actually pretty good, and it's not in Lobby store.
Now, for those who don't understand it, this is what happens whenever they activate TAC Team when they have this Starship trait.
Plus 20 armor pen.
Now, I don't know about you, but for torpedo captains, that's stupidly overpowered. It's big.
I wouldn't call that overpowered. I would say that's really, really good. And that's
I
good
would
for
call it
everyone.
overpowered.
No, it's not overpowered. It's good. It's not overpowered.
This is freaking power creep. It's
Okay.
just nuts.
Yeah, I agree with you. Power creep. It's not overpowered, though.
It's not even the biggest power creep that they've introduced with this patch.
Well, this is true, though. This is very true. Well, what else do we have here as far as issues that probably need to be addressed that haven't been addressed within these notes?
The kit modules and kit frames are still... People are having issues with items disappearing. Their frames are gone even after they log in, log back out. There's been reports of fleet kit frames have completely vanished. And some people have actually lost event modules, not regular modules or the gold Lockbox modules, but the modules you got from events. And they've changed maps, they've changed characters, they've switched instances, they've restarted the game, the whole 9 yards. And I've got quite a few reports of people saying that these things are just gone, and they're going to have to go back and get them. Another one was the Romulan plasma kit frame that you got from the mission. So that one Romulan mission with Sea Live, I forget which mission it was, but that one is also vanishing on certain people with no trace, no evidence of where it went, nothing. So that still needs to be addressed.
Aren't those a lot of those like one-time things?
Well, a lot of them can be reallocated, I guess, or gotten again if you run the mission again. But things like the fleet kits, they cost a little bit more than just running a mission. So those fleet kit frames being missing is kind of an issue.
And
that's not on the patch notes.
I'm now gone to Ryza to check that out. Apparently Ryza with the lighting upgrade, apparently somebody said doesn't go into nighttime now.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so I don't know. I'll check this out for a little bit, see what happens.
Now, what's been good about the last two updates? Well, this one plus the patch, I guess. Let's roll them all into one as far as a big update. What's been really good about this one here?
My ship porn is going to look so much better.
I agree. I totally agree. Especially when you jack the render scale up, it's going to look amazing with the new lighting.
Oh, I know.
Interesting. So I've been away from the game for several months. Tell me what's new and interesting.
Torpedoes appear to be flying faster, but I haven't ran any tests yet to see if they actually do impact the target faster. According to Bordicus, when he did the explanation on the initial Tribble patch notes, it seems that the actual animation was linked to the time that it actually impacted the target and did damage. So they increased the animation speed. And when they did that, they also redid a couple of the look and feels for the different torpedoes. Neutronic torpedo got redone art-wise a little bit. The new torpedo from the Lobby store looks kind of like a hybrid between the crystalline energy one and a gravimetric. I don't know, take it for whatever it's worth. But travel time for torps a little bit faster for the non-destructible ones.
Okay, so it would have been preferable for the destructible ones to be a little bit faster. So
That would be a good idea too, yes.
So they cryptic that. All right, I get
Pretty
it.
much.
Well, I guess their logic was, and this is something based off of a conversation I had with Board on Twitter beforehand, was that the destructible ones are so powerful that they need to move slow.
That makes no sense whatsoever. None.
You lost me at so powerful.
Exactly.
Awesome.
I mean, what logical reason is there for a torpedo being fired from your ship to move slower than your ship at full impulse? There's no logical reason for that.
Romulan artifact. Something.
Pretty much like Protius said, a torpedo that you can just fly away from at full impulse. You know, not even going the shift R to go like the faster speed. That you could just at normal high speed, your top speed, you can outrun the torpedo.
Pretty much.
That isn't too powerful. If it's not going to hit you in the first place, then it's going to do zero damage.
Well, I'll tell you this. I have a video up where I was using Fly Her Apart, and I was literally outrunning a neutronic and a quantum phase torpedo using Fly Her Apart, and I wasn't even at full impulse. I was outrunning them. I fired them, and I was overtaking them.
So we're back to the situation where the designers, developers are a little bit disconnected from the reality of the game.
I wouldn't say that so much as far as making the adjustments for the salvo type torpedoes and the enhanced biomolecular. It's something that's needed, and I get it. They do need to increase the torpedo flight speed. I personally don't think it's enough, but I need to run tests first and get the actual numbers as far as timing. Going off of memory and going off of old, a muscle memory for ISA and HSE, knowing when a torpedo is going to hit on its target, knowing when to activate concentrate firepower so somebody else doesn't steal it. There is a little bit faster travel speed and less travel time, but I don't think it's fast enough to be able to deal with all the new power creep that's available for energy weapons, especially with the haste mechanics going on in the temporal tree.
Have you even considered the fact that Psi builds now are melting targets so fast your torpedoes will never arrive in time?
Yeah, which kills a lot of side torpedo boats.
A ton of them, because I can literally, with the science build I have right now on a science tune, I can literally melt just about everything put in front of me as long as I'm not taking the threat. But I mean, stuff just drops so fast, people don't have a chance to hit anything. And I think somebody needs to take a look at the torpedo flight mechanics a little bit more in depth and go over how to balance that out, because you're basically making torpedoes useless if somebody is running a full exotic build like I do.
Well, E30 Ernest in game, he's been the man to go through for a lot of side torp builds. He's moved almost away from heavy torpedo builds and more focused on side and temporal abilities, to the point where it's like, why run anything else?
Oh yeah, him and I are running pretty much identical builds from the start of when Temporal came out, and we've seen each other's builds back and forth and compared notes. And while we have some differences, both of us have leaned more towards the exotic side of it than the torpedo side of it. And used to be we used to run full heavy torps with the Psi as a bonus to control everything and make the torps do the damage, but that's not the case anymore.
I just want to ask, with the new lighting update, and I found this out in Tribble like last month or whatever, but who knew that Drazona's roof actually had windows in it looking out into space?
I never looked up, to be honest. I never realized that there might have been windows up there until the lighting came out.
There's dirty windows up there.
I want to just quickly interject with one thing here. You mentioned like a roof, and I was on the bridge of the Talaru, and they forgot to put the ceiling in.
Oh, no way.
No.
Add that to the bug list.
Oh, that's the other bug. Some ships, the left nacelle is causing some glitches. I noticed
Assault cruiser?
There's that, yeah, the assault cruiser. Wasn't there one other ship, or was it just the assault cruiser that was broken?
I only saw pictures of the assault cruiser being broken.
Yeah, like I saw like the nacelle was actually detached from the ship. I noticed when I was shooting the Sovereign video in Tribble, there wasn't any trail path from the nacelle, and there was no blinking lights on the nacelle either. Which I'm like, okay. And I guess that got carried over, so awesome.
Yay,
What about the new featured episode and the weapons there?
Featured episode is actually awesome. It's not just a run and gun type of episode. It's actually got some thought into it, which I love, because they actually broke it down for us and gave us something to actually explore and do other than blow shit up. But the rewards from it, the weapon looks kind of interesting. The weapon set looks interesting. And I know, Odin, you're probably going to be really upset, but there's an actual torpedo with disruptor ability on it.
Yay. SOB, guess what? Somebody over there likes you so much when you mentioned you wanted a disruptor torpedo, energy disruptor torpedo. And I said, no, the Resonant will handle that for you there. But you wanted an actual energy one. Congratulations, you got your wish.
No, that's not this torpedo.
From the featured episode?
This one's kinetic damage.
I thought it was straight up the Gorn, no, not the Gorn one, the Nausicaan one.
Let me double check.
It's straight energy.
Because I could have swore the Lobi one was a straight energy one.
No. This
No,
says
not
quite
the Lobi
clearly, Nausicaan energy torpedo launcher, and it's disruptor damage.
It's a featured episode one. That's a Nausicaan one. The Lobi one is a quantum one.
Ah,
So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, the Lobi is quantum, and the featured episode one is a Nausicaan energy one with 100% chance to debuff the target on impact.
Coalition disruptor sales just went through the roof.
Oh, yes. Now, if you actually just jack that thing up with a lot of disruptor energy consoles, you'll get the debuff guaranteed on the target, mind you. And then all your coals will benefit.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of smexy for those who like to use torpedoes.
Now we need them to just, come out with Disruptor Omni.
That would be glorious.
Indeed. Aside from that, what about the console and the energy weapon itself? Any thoughts on that as well? Included
Okay.
within a lot of disruptor meta? What?
So, like, it's a science console that does not have enough perks on it to be worth dropping an embassy console. It's a good thing for, I guess, a budget build, but I mean, really, once you have access to the embassy plasma explosion consoles, you're going to pretty much be filling every single size slot with one of those.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, on the more expensive side, I've actually played around with the Lobi set, the dual beam bank, the console, and the torpedo. And like I said earlier, it's the quantum torpedo. Now, if you're a torpedo boat, you don't need the 3-piece. It's not worth it. The 2-piece, though, for a budget build, well, for a budget build, you're going to have to like shell out some serious money for it, man. Because, yeah, I would see that for more of a heavy armor pen / debuff build. But if you're going for, hey, I want to actually be able to do something nice, nail the target down, debuff it without using an energy torpedo because, yeah, that shit's stupid. You want to use this torpedo here, especially for a lot of quantum builds. And I actually have a video of that, of my Romulan doing a full-on quantum build. It's pretty nice. It is very nice on it. So with that, you just use a console and the torpedo itself, boosted with quantum tac consoles, and call it a day. You can debuff the target. The torpedo itself hits relatively hard. It's in between the quantum phase and neutronic as far as raw damage. I personally would see, if you're going to help somebody out with debuffing the target, use that torpedo. If not, by itself, I would say we need further testing. But
yeah, it's still relatively new.
It is not only is it just relatively new, it's still on the order of we're not quite sure where this is actually going to fit in for a build. Other than if you're running straight quantums, yes, do it. It's definitely not something for 400 Lobi for that plus the upgrading. Not cheap at all. That's it. That's all I have to say on that. Anything else?
Spencer,
I haven't actually messed with the Lobi set, so
have you messed with the Nausicaan Disruptor beam array yet?
no.
You haven't touched it yet?
I have yet to run that mission.
Wow. How am I supposed to compare notes with you if you don't have this stuff tested?
Well, I saw the proc on it, didn't care, and decided to keep my coalitions on.
I knew you were going to say that.
Wow.
Now, if you weren't running coalitions, or if you couldn't afford coalitions, because let's be honest, some of it's quite expensive, would you run this beam if you were running a pure disruptor setup?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. Because I honestly think it would be good for the mid-level players who don't have access to the high-end stuff yet, because it does offer a miniature plasmatic leech proc on the weapon itself, which I thought was kind of cool. Of course, it does have the regular disruptor proc on it as well, so you've got 2 different procs on one weapon, which is kind of neat.
Anything else that we've seen that's been introduced into this thing that people enjoy?
Actually, I want to go to ground quick. So a lot of people had a lot of like K-Perf 3 kits that they were going to try to upgrade to get a K-Perf 4. But it turns out, which wasn't announced anywhere, it was announced after the patch, that you cannot get a K-Perf on an upgrade on a kit that's already got 2 or 3 K-Perf modifiers.
What?
Very
What's a
sneaky.
cape? What's a cape for?
Kit
Caper.
performance.
It's the best modifier you can get on the ground for kits. It enhances all of your kit modules and stuff.
Okay.
Kit performance boost. So if I was using, say, 2 torpedo consoles and a kit performance one, it would enhance the damage of the torpedo ones, yes?
Yes.
Now, do you think that... Hold on. Now, educate me a little bit on this beforehand. Was there ever a time where you could get more than 2 caper mods on the kit?
Yes.
Yes. People were often doing K-Perf 3s.
So why don't we have it now?
We still have them. You just can't get a Caper 4 when you upgrade. I've got quite a few Caper 3s that I was holding on to just for that purpose, but they're now not going to get the Caper 4 that I wanted.
So the best possible combination you can now get on a kit is to get an armor modifier on the ultra rare upgrade of K-Perf 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, those are going to be very costly.
Fun. One other thing that came about here that we've seen, we saw this on the front page of the ARC website, or the STO website leading over to the ARC website. There was a code, and on the site itself, it said the code expires on November 1st, 2016, and allow you to get a couple items on there, and you can go to the redeem, type it in, you get it. We were going to post this up on the show notes, but it seems that there's been a recent development on this, and I don't have the full story on this. I heard you guys talking about this earlier. What was the current development on this code that players were able to see on the website, but they can't redeem now?
Yeah, so I think I keep hearing people say that it was referenced in a blog at the bottom of the article or something like that, and it was emailed out to folks, and then the people who got it emailed to them tried to redeem the code, and it said that it had expired. On one of the Facebook groups today, somebody had actually posted up a picture of their live chat with one of the Perfect World customer service folks. I'm surprised they were able to get somebody, but but they said that it was removed due to it being exploited somehow, and that was that. And then during the day, Trendy tweeted out that they're looking into it, and then I think about 10 minutes before the show started, I saw a thing go out from Trendy saying that this will be available to everybody starting tomorrow after the maintenance, and will be claimable for 48 hours. And details would be in a blog post about it on how to redeem it. I think I actually had the copy pasta from the forums in the show notes.
Yeah, you do have that there.
Yeah. Not a lot of you received the code. So instead of a large number of players having access to these items to help us celebrate the new season, now every single player will now have complete access to these free items for a 48-hour period. We felt this was a good way to let everyone in on this awesome giveaway and make the promotion as seamless as possible. I'll be posting up a blog tomorrow with more information, but I wanted to give you a heads up. So at least something was being communicated with the community. But,
And what are the items being given away?
A R&D pack, a XP boost, and oh crap,
A DOF pack.
DOF pack. Thank you.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Shall we mention the accidental giveaway?
Well, they fixed it,
Oh.
so go for it.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
We were playing. We loaded up. The server came up. We did our thing. Everybody's running in, checking new stuff, getting the Lobby ships and all that crazy stuff. And it was mentioned to us that there was a problem with the T5 reclaim of the assault cruiser refit. And apparently, if you reclaimed the one you already purchased, it gave you the T6 Intel Sovereign variant. And within probably an hour or so of the server coming up, the option to reclaim that ship completely, T5 or otherwise, was removed from the Cryptic store post-haste.
Huh.
Actually, let's see if it's still removed.
Did you get to keep the ship?
So far, everybody who claimed it still has the ship, and no word on whether or not they're going to revert it or what they're going to do with it, but the ship cannot be claimed in the C store as of right now.
Yeah, Regent was T5, right?
Correct.
Yeah, as of right now, I do not see it in...
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, no, still hasn't been put back on.
It was a nice little pre-Christmas present for some of us.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cryptic.
I'm at work in the data center working with fiber, and I decided to jump onto Discord to shoot the shit because I saw some people were in there, and they're all talking about this. I'm like, of course this shit has to happen while I'm at work, nowhere near a computer. And the only computer I have access to is my work computer, which has shitty built-in Intel onboard graphics. I'm like, oh god, it sucks, but whatever.
But to note, they did not add the skin to it, so I don't think the skin was actually published live with that whole fiasco. So it's still the T5 variant skin, you're just flying a T6 ship.
But it greatly helps my immersion to have a T6 assault cruiser. And it has Intel, which, really helps.
Well, Nah, I'm going to refrain from asking anything about that T6 assault cruiser for the time being. But knowing that there are a significant amount of people who actually do have this ship, not a lot, mind you, but still a significant amount. Just really quick, good ship, bad ship, ship, okay ship, what?
It's a worse arbiter, basically.
Yeah.
A worse arbiter.
It's a good ship. It's good. It's just not going to be high end.
All right, hold on a second, because that's a little bit deceiving when you say worse arbiter, because your arbiter is a very, very good ship.
Yes.
Okay, so it's a ship that, like, with the Intel seat is competitive with the Arbiter and Vengeance. The issue is that the Intel seat is on the Lieutenant Commander Universal, which you have to set as a side because there's no size, other side stations.
Oh, okay, I get it. All right, I understand what you mean now.
Side note, I'm on DS9 now, and I actually think DS9 with the new lighting package looks a lot more like the DS9 that you saw on the show.
Yeah, I really enjoyed DS9 with the new lighting. Not that I'm a role player or anything, but I like the graphical side of it.
Now, I need to stop by DS9 and see exactly what's going on here with this.
You are not allowed to go to Cisco's office.
What?
You're not allowed.
What?
You already have way too many Cisco moments. You're not allowed. Your Cisco quota for the month has already been allocated.
There is no quota for the Cisco.
I don't know. You had 3 Cisco moments last show. I mean,
all right,
seriously.
Yeah. You know what? Let's just move on before you get a 4th. All right.
It's okay. I'll allow it.
Oh, thanks, oh great one. Thank you. All right. SOB. As far as the actual updates with the lighting engine and graphics here, what do we see is dragging down the performance of the client overall whenever they're using the UI?
Okay, so after this patch, I noticed my FPS just took a massive hit. Normally, I'm at 60 to 70 plus, and I was dropping down to pretty much a consistent low 20s. And I found it was the mission tracker. So once I disabled that, my FPS went straight back up on multiple characters.
The mission tracker.
Interesting.
So you're saying it's rigged against you?
I see what you did there.
I think he just needs to get
It
good and
is.
spam spacebar more. He doesn't need a UI for that.
Oh, Alan, could you look out that window behind you? Because I thought I saw something not quite right.
I already beamed out. But yeah, you see the silhouette of DS9, but it looks all
Untextured?
yeah.
Yeah, that's what it did look like.
I actually just thought of another bug. Yeah, Federation Fleet Alert is missing off the queue.
As are all red alerts.
That's not
Actually,
true.
there were reports of red alerts happening today throughout the game.
Yeah, I saw one last night, and I think I've actually come across one today.
Okay, good. I need to level up some ships.
They don't seem to be
They-
as frequent, though.
They removed FFA.
I think it might have been by accident, though.
You know, like the gem ship in the lobby store.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Now, go on.
what do you guys all think of this lockbox?
I like the Lobby ship and the console that comes out of the lockbox. Buy one today.
I look at this and I'm saying just better off to just use the traits off, buy the traits off the exchange. Don't spend keys opening them up. Save your money, buy the traits.
Some
Yeah, that
interesting
tactical
ships
trait
here.
is rare.
It would be.
Do you like the ships, Cam?
Well, I'm looking at them right now. And not bad.
They're funky looking. Takes a mother's love to appreciate it.
You know what? Protius, you're in game, right?
Yes, I am.
Can you shoot me a bridge invite so we can show folks the bridge
Oh,
of
yes.
this thing?
Yes, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Stand by, people.
The bridges on these ships look awesome.
Yeah, I was shocked when I first opened up the science ship, and first thing I did was jump to the bridge. I was like, whoa.
And I'm guessing these are like they have the same bridge for all three ships.
Correct. Wow, load screen's taking forever. Shock, shock.
So let's take a look here. We got a dreadnought carrier, a science ship, and a destroyer.
Yeah, the destroyer is the T5 ship in the box, and it's needed if you want to get the good frigate pets for the other ships.
You're kidding.
Nope. Not kidding.
So there's the most expensive T5 ship you've ever bought.
Not really, because most people don't seem to like these ships. The Dreadnought carrier is already crashing in the exchange, and the Lobby ship is the cheapest, like T6 Lobby ship right now, I believe. I think people just don't like the visuals, and it's a shame for the Psy ship, because the Psy ship is one of the best Psy ships we've ever had.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
well, hold on,
and the
hold on.
console's amazing.
Well, let's take a look at this, okay? Let's go through the ships if you guys don't mind. We haven't done this in a while.
Go
So
for it.
I'm looking at the Dreadnought carrier here. At level 60, it's got 57,000 HP hull strength, which actually isn't. I don't think that's a lot. Shield modifier 1.15, so it's more shield heavy than anything. 4-3 weapon layout, which I believe is standard on the Dreadnought carriers. It comes with a Commander Tactical / Temporal Operative. Decent. A Lieutenant Engineer / Command. Oh, it's got Command. kind of interesting. And ensign science. All right. You guys know I don't like these ensign seats, especially if they're locked into a specific thing. Lieutenant Commander Science and Lieutenant Commander Universal. So, console is 4 tactical, 3 engineering, 4 science. That's actually a really good layout there. Apart from the ensign science in there. Base turn rate of 8. So it's a Narcine. It's an updated Narcine. Yeah, it's a tier 6 Narcine. It's slightly better. Not sure about the command in there. I guess some people might actually use that to their advantage. It's, well, I should say, I don't know about the command being bundled in with the Lieutenant Engineer. Ensign Science, I wish that was Universal. Lieutenant Commander Universal, you'd probably want to run that as a tactical. Although with the amount of cooldown reductions, you might actually put that as an engineer, or even more science. Or no, you probably want to run it as tactical and put in some temporal abilities on the commander. Molecular reconstruction, so it's a temporal ship, we know that. Chronoton fragmentation warhead launcher. I'm going to guess that that's just like the regular gimmick consoles that they throw on there.
Yeah.
Okay, what is the trait for that ship? Do you guys know? Because I can't quite read it here.
It makes your photonic shockwave not repel, I believe.
Okay.
Oh, it also adds a debuff to the target whenever they actually do the contact. So that is actually pretty damn good. And here's the thing we want to test. If your photonic shockwaves do not knock your targets away anymore, and they add a debuff with the photonic shockwave hitting on that target, if you pair this with overwhelming force and the photonic shockwave duty officers, will you then have all your torpedoes under high yield firing photons or firing torpedoes at these targets, each one of them generating a photonic shockwave? And then the duty officers each give each torpedo that generates a photonic shockwave a chance to cause additional photonic shockwaves for each target hit. So do we see this debuff stacking on multiple times for each photonic shockwave that hits the target? And if that's the case, Gravel, photonic shockwave, overwhelming force, this trait, the 3 duty officers, heavily debuffed target in one salvo. That's better than a bunch of nannies running in there with freaking recluses. That's disgusting if it synergizes that way.
If it does, that would actually be really good. That would actually be good. I have to test it out. I'd have to log into the game to test it out. But let's move on to the science ship.
Yummy.
And wow. All right, let's hull strength 46,000 at level 60. That's decent for a science ship, I guess. So that's pretty good. Shield modifier 1.45. All right, that's good. Weapon layout 4-2, 4 front, 2 in the rear. So this is primarily a forward-facing ship. You probably want to run with the dual beam banks and omnis in the back on this ship.
Depending on your build, of course.
I would say that's actually really decent. You'd probably really actually want a forward-facing ship like that, weapon layout for a science ship, because most of the science abilities seem to have a forward arc.
Yeah, quite a few. There's a couple that are 360s, but not many.
Not many. Most of them are forward arc. So that's actually really decent in that regards, if you can actually pull that off. Officer stations, a lieutenant commander tactical. All right. Or we already get the inkling that it's a heavy tactical ship. Heavy tactical science ship. Lieutenant engineering Intel. Really? Intel on the engineering slot, on the lieutenant engineer?
Yeah, it's the only thing I have a problem with on this ship is it
Oh,
limited my
boy.
engineering.
Ensign science. Okay. Same issue again. Why are you locking the ensigns to a specific career? Why? Did you guys not learn anything yet? Why? So we got a commander science temporal operative and a lieutenant commander universal. That's, apart from the ensign science and the intel on the engineering, on the lieutenant engineering. On the other ship, it was the command and the lieutenant engineering. Why? Why? You had 4 tactical, 2 engineering, and 5 science slot. That is, apart from those little things, this is really nice science ship. This is pretty good. It's base turn rate of 9. It's kind of slow, actually, for a science ship.
It is pretty slow. I've got it all fully kitted out if you want to know the actual stats of the full stuff.
Just take a look here. Okay, molecular subsystem targeting sensor analysis. 1 hangar bay. Nice. Okay. So that's okay. You have a forward ship, so it's a forward-facing ship. You want any kind of forward-facing ship, you want it to be a little bit more maneuverable than ships of its same class. You give it the turn rate of basically a fast cruiser.
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
Okay, so actually, with it kitted out, how much turn rate do you have?
Right now, standing still, I'm at 4.9 degrees per second. If I go full speed, that runs up to 18 degrees per second.
Oof. Ouch.
Yeah, very, very, very boaty as far as turning.
So you'd probably still want a broadside with that then.
Well, I've got it sort of set up for a frontal assault, and I'm kind of making it work with evasive maneuvers and the emergency powered engines DOF. So it's kind of working out, but it's still very slow to turn.
And with only like a lieutenant engineering, you're not going to get much help in that regards. I mean, you could probably put the lieutenant commander universal as an engineer, and then have like an aux to damp in there. And then emergency powered engines. And then you just use a lieutenant engineer for its intel seats. You have just 2 intel powers there, but I don't know, man.
It's a tricky setup.
It's a good ship. It looks like it, but it's a bit finicky. I'm gonna say that. I mean, I love the stats on it. I would love to fly it, but
You seen the pets yet?
well, no, I'm still scrolling down here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Let me know when you get to that.
Yeah, right. Destroyers. So we got a destroyer, which is the booby prize, you guys say. Hull strength 28,000, shield modifier. This is just the plain tier 5. It's not dash shoot yet. 4-3 weapons. Lieutenant tactical, commander tactical, lieutenant engineering, ensign science, 1 lieutenant commander science. So no universals at all. 4 tactical, 1 engineering, 4 science. It's, you know what? If you want a cheap ship, you can't afford something more expensive. You just may be starting in the game. Actually, there are better tier 5s out there.
Yeah, but you don't get the tier 5 for the ship itself. You
So
get it for
with
what
the
it can unlock for you.
Yeah, so tier 5U gets an extra tactical slot, so it takes it up to 5. It goes up to 38,000 hell at level 60. Purchase the frigate pets. Okay, so that's basically the only interesting thing about that particular ship is the frigate pets. Everything else is kind of mediocre.
Yeah,
It looks
I
interesting,
would say
though.
so. It's an interesting looking ship. It's just meh.
I mean, definitely got that aggressive look to it. That I actually like that. Ship consoles. Actually, we didn't go over the console or the trait for the science ship. Quantum deceleration field generator. That sounds interesting.
It's a nice console.
What does the console do?
It basically causes a lot of it's what they call quantum deceleration stacks. It's +1 counter for each 5 seconds, up to 10 stacks, and then for each second it's got this on it, it receives a physical damage buff or damage packet, and it increases by 25% per stack of deceleration on the target. And then the final hit is another huge physical damage that ignores shields if all 10 stacks of the quantum deceleration have been applied. And we're talking right now, I can probably hit one for 28 grand just with that one particular burst.
Interesting. Does it synergize with entropy at all?
Not that I've noticed, but it does have another side effect of reducing the impulse speeds of your targets. For each stack that's on there of quantum deceleration, it's another 25% decrease in the impulse speed. So you combine that with a gravity well group of spheres, they're all going to get sucked to the center like almost immediately, maximizing your damage.
Interesting. So, all right, the ship actually does have a semi-decent console.
Yeah, the console's pretty good.
Which is rare. Come on, let's face it. Ships with interesting consoles is few and far between. So what's the stealthic phasing trait?
It's garbage. Let me just switch maps here. I'll pull up the description on it. Let's see here. All right, the Delphic phasing trait. Anytime you get critically hit, you gain a stack of partial Delphic phasing once per 2 seconds. And basically what this does is starts increasing your energy damage by +5 per stack of the Delphic phasing for 15 seconds with a max of 10 stacks. So if you're a tank and you're looking for more survivability, this might be your cup of tea. But me personally, I don't think so. Because after you get your 10 stacks of phasing, you're immune to all energy damage for only 5 seconds, and then it clears all the stacks, and you can't get new stacks for 45 seconds. So in a fast ISA run, this is like a one-time use. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's pretty much done.
Let's take a look at the 2-piece for the set. Is just plus exotic damage. Do you know how much exotic damage you get for having the 2-piece console?
15%.
Yep.
Ooh. Is that baseline Cat 1, or is that a multiplicative plus 15%?
I'm not entirely sure because I don't have the 2-piece. But the initial console's passive 15% exotic damage, that appears to be a category 2.
Does it say bonus on anywhere on the text?
Not on that one.
And then typically, if we don't see bonus, it'll typically be a Cat 1.
Typically. But I have to do some number crunching on it before I can tell for sure.
Sorry. The red alerts, you remember how the Borg red alerts, you'd hit the button and warp you to the cube and then you just start?
Mm-hmm.
It actually drops you into a queue now, like it did with the what the hell was that?
The Nakul?
Yeah, the Nakul one.
Wow, are you kidding?
This triggers me greatly.
Actually, you know what? That's a good thing.
No, it's not, because I want to solo.
Yes, it is. Because, well, good luck soloing the red alerts.
Borg
I remember.
Is easy to solo, dude.
No, that's not the issue. It's like it used to be that you would go into a Borg red alert, and because of the way it worked, it would kind of stagger the people coming in. So it would let 5 people in, then it would let another 5 people in, and then it would let another 5 people in. So you'd have, you'd have like 10, 15 people in the red alert. And by the time you log in, the freaking pickles already showed up.
Pickle.
That also means nobody can chain red alerts anymore.
Well, you couldn't in the first place. Well, they changed it so that you could only do them once every half hour or so, or
Well,
once every hour.
There were
each,
ways to do
sector.
it.
And per sector, yeah.
Yeah.
There were still ways to chain them.
So sorry to interrupt the ship talk, but I just wanted to bring that up because I'm just noticing that now.
Okay, well, let's look at the hangar pets. And the first ones are the heavy fighter. Are those the frigates?
No. The heavy fighters are the normal normal pets that come with the ships.
Okay, well, let's take a look. I'm going to skip right away to the elite. Because screw everything else. Who uses the normal ones? But where is it? Elite
Right.
Sphere Builder Heavy Fighters, Ultraviolet, right? Anti-Proton 4, Chronoton 4, and then Anti-Proton Aft. Beam Overload 2, High Yield 2, Channel Deconstruction 1.
Yeah, not so good.
And these are heavy fighters, so I'm guessing they launch 2 at a time. 2 per launch, 2 per wing.
Correct. 2 pairs per bay.
Yeah, okay. Not that heavily impressed with those. Here we go. Erebus fighters or Erebus frigates. I don't know how you pronounce that.
I don't either. I gave up trying.
Looking at the elite ones here. Anti-proton beam array and dual beam bank and a Chronoton torpedo 4 and a beam array in the aft. Oh, hello there. Rapid decay, channel deconstruction, torp spread, and fire at will 2.
Correct.
Nice.
And I also want to note that a lot of people don't see this on the tooltips or in the descriptions, but these pets are using the new Delphic anti-proton weapons that have the 10% crit chance and crit severity proc on them.
No, those frigates are very, very nice. And I'm assuming it's 2 wings of 1 per hangar.
Yeah, you get 2 ships per hangar.
Okay. So the Dreadnought gets 4 and the science ship gets 2. Okay, that's not too bad. Wait, the science ship can use the frigates, right?
Correct.
Oh boy.
Yes, sir. They're debuffers, they're hard hitters, and they have got weapons for days.
So that actually that does kind of mitigate the slow turningness of the ship. Slow turningness. I have tremendous English, all right?
Your English, very good much, sir.
I have the bigliest English words, the best words. Oh boy. But yeah, still though that lieutenant engineer and the ensign science kind of like trigger me a little bit. But other than that, wow.
Yeah, you mix this ship with those pets, and it literally becomes the best science ship in the game.
And you're saying it's like one of the cheapest Lobby ships on the market right now?
Yeah, it's like 230 mil.
Okay, cheap in quotations, probably cheaper than the other ones, but I'm guessing we're getting this. It's going to be the same deal as the Bentham backwards cruiser, which was when it was released, it's probably one of the best cruisers in the game, but everyone hated it because it looked like crap.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And personally, the science ship is the better looking of the 3, in my opinion, and it still looks like garbage.
Well, I wouldn't say it looks like garbage. I actually like that speculum type look. I actually love the Undyne ships as well.
Mm.
But this has got what, like a little floating sphere thing at the front of it?
Yeah, and then the secondary sphere behind it to give you a size perspective. That's about the size of a Borg sphere. So it's a relatively large ship.
You got quiet there.
Did I?
Yeah, we lost you for a bit. You cut out. So you'd say it was a relatively large.
It's a very, very large ship. It's not a small boat by any means.
The dreadnought looks weird.
You should see one up close.
But yeah, no, the science ship definitely looks very aggressive.
Well, even more so when you put the Borg set on it. Looks very, very aggressive.
It's got that tri-symmetry there. I kind of do like the looks. I like the look of the destroyer as well. Just looking at the pictures, they both look pretty aggressive. The destroyer is more of a smooth, rounded thing, aggressive.
Yeah, the pets actually look good when you're using the destroyer's pets. They're pretty big as well. They actually warp in instead of coming out of your ship.
I just realized that there's no... Oh, there it is. There's no forward view of the dreadnought, but there is at the very top of the page. That's kind of weird. I'm assuming that's a huge ship, or it's got to be a pretty huge ship.
I mean, it's about similar in size as far as bulkiness as the science ship, but it's a little bit longer. About the size of an Odyssey.
Okay. Well, the Odyssey is like the biggest Federation ship. Well, second biggest Federation ship. It's not really close to the biggest ship out there. There's no pictures of the frigate pets or the fighter pets.
Yeah, and I noticed there wasn't any really good shots of it, but comparably, they're about maybe 30% of the size of the science ship when you're using them as pets. I haven't actually seen somebody flying one of these ships to see a size comparison in the game.
What else is in the lockbox? Anything else interesting?
Ho ho ho! My favorite console in the game, which is currently broken. It is the Delphic Tear Generator. It has a passive 20% bonus exotic damage on it, which is not working. And it also has 5% critical severity. And this one is another clicky console.
5% crit severity?
Correct.
When you're excited about that?
Well, I'm excited that anything that science is getting has severity on it. Because let's face it, we don't get a whole lot of severity.
Is that just global crit severity, or is it just science crit severity?
It's global.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're excited about 5% crit severity?
On a science tune, yes. Because I don't stack a whole lot of severity consoles at all on my build. So getting any type of severity anywhere on this build is really, really nice.
I don't know. 5% seems a little bit low. What else is on the console? Is there an active clicky thing?
Oh, yeah. It's a cone radiation attack. And what it does with me currently sitting in space, we're getting 1,240 radiation damage every half second with 50% shield pen. But that damage increases with more targets in range. So again, another gravity well, blast the hell out of it kind of deal. And it's got a really cool final pulse that does 2,480 radiation damage at the final tick, increasing again with more targets in range. But it also has a 20% damage resistance debuff while any target is within the effect.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, we've been seeing some huge DPS coming just from this console in CCA and some decent DPS out of it in ISA.
In that case, it's probably going to get nerfed, double nerfed. Probably. But yeah, that sounds really interesting. And you said it should have 20% bonus exotic damage?
Yeah, it's supposed to have the 20% bonus exotic, which is a Cat 2 on this one, but it's currently not applying its passive bonus. It's broken.
Yeah,
which is kind of upsetting.
Yeah, that's That's a crazy console. Is it a universal or a science?
It's a complete universal. And it's not ship specific. You can put this on any starship.
Okay. Yeah, that's gonna get multi-nerfed.
Probably. It's going to go the way of the plasma explosions.
It's gonna get cryptic at some point.
Pretty much.
Although, it's bugged. It's missing the bonus. So 6 months to a year, they'll take a look at it.
Probably.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other
I think it
thing,
might get fixed though relatively quickly, considering that there are items that need to be addressed. I think this might actually get addressed quickly as well.
Well,
Especially if it's a new item, it needs to be fixed.
right? Remember the polemic console there?
Oh, don't remind me.
It took them a year and something to get that fixed, and I put in the bug for that like the same day it was out. So yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath. It's going to be 6 months, a year and a half. That's how it usually works out. Apart from that, what else is in this lockbox? Come on, give me more info. Feed me the info.
Spencer, the trade is all yours.
Sorry, I lost my power there. The traits are pretty nice. They're enhancement for a variety of captain abilities. Some of the engineering ones I've heard aren't as good as people were hoping. But Tactical's really got a nice one here where you can hit your go down fighting at any HP level. And there's no negative to running to the trait. So if you're dropped below 50%, you still get your normal scaling GDF. So you can still get that perfect 0% if you want. But if you're in a run and you get basically, cock blocked by an aggro tank, you can still get a GDF instead of, just completely losing out.
Yeah, but what level of GDF do you get? Like if I'm at 75. Okay. So it's a on-demand GDF and it starts at 50% and scales downwards from there.
That might actually give me an edge. Considering that I rarely ever use GDF, and not because I intend to, but because of the ships that I fly, they tend to be very squishy, and it's a torpedo gunship. You are not one to stick your nose out first and expect to take hits. You want to be up on the front lines, throwing down firepower so your torques can actually make it to the target if you're running with high-powered noobs like SOB, but you don't want to receive hits, typically. Now, go on.
You're only saying that because for the past, a year and a half, you were running without a fleet buff? So you hadn't had no extra stat boost, no extra resistances and stuff like that?
True.
I mean, you finally got good. Now you just need to spam spacebar.
Spencer, I'm not really overly convinced at this trait. I mean, it's interesting, but you kind of have to balance out. It's a starship trait, right? Or is it a personal trait?
Personal trait.
And there's the kicker.
Interesting. So you have 8 or 9 other traits. Is it worth swapping out some of your other traits for that? For if you're going for a DPS run, a high run or something like that, okay, I say probably not worth it. Hive, though, yeah, that actually might be worth it. CCA, maybe.
It's a must-have for CCA for sure, because it dies so fast that you're not going to get taken down, For Hive, it's good to get the additional buff for your feedback pulse at the start. For Infected, you're not going to use it if you're going for a record, but it's something that ensures that you'll actually get a GDF, and I can see it being very useful for a team going for speed records. because if everyone's not in a cloakable ship, then there's going to be some people getting screwed out of a GDF, and this prevents that.
So yeah, it's a good utility in that case. So
They're literally putting power creep in a box and handing it out to people.
yeah, power
Pretty
creep
much.
is not a bad thing.
The thing is, I wouldn't exactly call this power creep because it doesn't increase like the potential of a GDF or like a maximum potential for a record, because on the records you're already getting people with 0 to 10% GDFs, so that's doing nothing. This just, I think what I saw people saying is it increases the floor but doesn't raise the ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. It's more of a quality of life utility buff more than a actual power creep. It basically takes out the gimmickiness of actually trying to get a GDF. So, okay. But you said something about a engineering trait?
Ugh.
Yeah, the engineers got traits for the EPS power, whatever their EPS manifold ability is. It's a scaling buff depending on whatever subsystem has the most power at the time. It's nothing that huge from what I remember. And then they have one for Nadion inversion that gives them an energy buff with it, but I was reading in chat earlier that it's actually a pretty crap buff and just isn't even worth running. It's like 10% Cat 1 or something.
Yeah. Hold on. So let's go back to that EPS buff. Because let's be honest, that EPS, the engineer's EPS ability is actually pretty decent. It's a shame that, it's on an engineer, but it's pretty awesome actually. And you know what? If you have a engineering buddy, that thing can be thrown. You can cast that on teammates.
Okay, I just looked at the blog. It's if weapon power is your highest, you get crit chance. If it's engines, you get armor pen. Shields, a shield pen, and auxiliary is crit severity.
So typically with the type of runs, the setup that we have, it's going to be either weapons or aux.
And
Yeah.
side ships will be running a lot of aux anyway, so.
So crit severity for that, or just flat damage bonus. And do we know what category of damage bonus?
The Nadion bypass trait, it's a Cat 1.
No, the EPS.
No idea.
If it's the same as the actual weapon power bonus, so like a Cat 1 and scales.
The weapon bonus is crit chance. There's no damage buff.
Crit chance. Okay. No. Okay, that's actually pretty good.
And science has a good trait too, subnucleonic transferal. It drains 15 power from your target and gives you 15.
Just flat 15 from each subsystem, or a total of 15 power across subsystems?
Good question.
Probably per subsystem. That would make sense on a subnuke.
Yeah, it's plus 15 to all subsystems.
How long does it last? The length duration of the subnuke?
30 seconds.
Oh.
Wow.
And then there's another science trait, photonic reinforcement, gives your photonic fleet a fourth ship, so basically worthless. Tactical also has coordinated targeting solution, which reduces the recharge time on fire on my mark if the target dies while it's active.
Meh.
And then on ground, I'm going to skip over most of them because I don't really care about most of them and they're pretty bad. But the security detail for tactical, your security escorts gain the ability to throw grenades. Unfortunately, it's completely trash, and the grenades do like 4 DPS.
Can we backstep for a second?
Sure.
Subnucleonic transferal is affected by drain expertise. Currently, my psi ship with this trait in the list is minus 18.2 for the target and plus 18.2 all power settings for 30 seconds for me. So it is affected by drain. That's
Subnuke is a
actually
captain ability, and we do have like traits and consoles that reduce the cooldown of captain abilities. So you can fire off that subnuke every. Oh, if I remember my math correctly, you should be able to fire that off almost back to back. With all hands on deck and that particular console there from the Credum Science ship, I believe, affected captain abilities.
Yeah, the timeline stabilizer.
Yeah. There might be something new that I'm forgetting that also reduces the cooldown of captain abilities.
The temporal continuity.
There you go. So yeah, you can probably overlap that subnuke as well.
Yeah, and I'm not even running high drain on this particular build. I've only got 165 drain expertise on that. So a high drain build could probably drop the power levels really, really big on a subnuke hit.
Probably. This is, you know what? I actually see this more useful in PvP. Yeah, I know, guys. I know. But this is more of a PvP talent than a PvE talent.
Spencer just got some new cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the trait box shows that it gives a different trait, like in the description, so it's been pretty cheap, so just go out and buy them while they're cheap.
Yeah, get them while they're hot, because they're going to be useful.
If only there was actual real PvP in the game.
Instead of turrets online.
If only tacticals weren't completely superior and, even trying to get stuff for Ranger side was, completely worthless.
What?
Tac is easy mode.
Tac superior in PvP?
Like, no, in the rest of the game, what's currently here.
Right, okay. I thought there for a second that you were saying tacs were superior in PvP. Yeah, no, PvP is go science or go home. Might want like attack, they'll bring attack friend as a finisher, but a good science captain in PvP is just, face wrecking. Well, it used to be. All the cheese and fucked up shit they have now, who knows?
Yeah, so much immunity cheese right now. It's pretty much whoever makes the first mistake loses. That's all it comes down to. All right, moving on here, because we just checked the time and, people will start falling asleep on us now, even though they're watching live. We have a quick announcement, several quick things here. First off, we're going to post a link here for Zeph on his video here of the Sovereign Skin revamp. And obviously, you want your ship porn, go see ZEFilms. We have the link for it there. We have Astro Zombie, and he doing much massive, impressive things over here with his budget builds. People love it, enjoy it, see it, learn something for it. People have been putting in requests for him to do different ships, and he's been filling them out left and right, budget builds with each one of them, showing him how he flies them. I hear his Spacebar and, spinning circles, but, that's just me. Nib has a bunch of his ground tutorials out there, and for those who don't know Nib, you will, especially if you're big on ground and you want to get better on the ground, go watch his stuff. We also have a subreddit for it on the STO ground. It is reddit.com/r/STO ground. And SOB, you have an announcement to make.
Yes, we are going to be reactivating the DPS Prime channel to offer a channel for people that's actually the high end now to compensate for the amount of power creep we've had. 75k used to cover this role, but power creep has pretty much eliminated the skill required to get into 75k. So I would say 75k in some regards is the old 30k or even 10k at some points. Just because there's a lot of people that get in there that don't understand things, and just don't know what they're doing. So this channel will be scaled off a few different queues. You just have to do one of the requirements to get into the channel. You don't have to do all three. So you can get in by doing 175k DPS and Infected, 160k in Hive Space Elite, or 100k in DPS Mark on Advanced.
And the primary reason for this is to set a new bar for people to achieve, and then from there be able to make calls to do some, I guess, even more record runs or potential record runs here.
Yeah, so what we've been doing recently is we've done some Hive runs and some Infected runs where we're trying to do like speed records or something, and we're pulling from 75, and it's not good. I don't want to, sound mean to anyone in 75, but it's just not what it used to be. You need a lot more out of people now at the high end for those really fast runs. Like in Hive Space Elite, I'd say it's actually upwards for us to beat like the speed records. We would need a full team where everyone's averaging out to at least 200 to 250k DPS. So it's also basically, for that, it's mainly tax. Sorry, engineers and size, but you'll still be able to get in the channel.
I'm already in the channel, so I don't have to worry about it.
I think with all the power creep over here anyway, though, the size will be able to hit 200k over in Hive Space Elite.
Oh, I currently have the number 4 Psi with 140k, and that was just a garbage run that we were doing. I'm working on it, though.
Yeah, I see you have the potential to hit 200 easy.
Depends how many nannies you bring.
No, there's no nannies. No nannies on that one. I mean, that's like the same nonsense that they said about, torpedo starships there. And until fairly recently with the temporal out and then all the other power creep behind it, I was number 2 behind SOB. With ultimate feedback pulse cheese. Just saying.
Nerf feedback pulse.
Yeah, when feedback pulse is... The feedback pulse on that run was equivalent to 2 people setting their own personal record runs in ISA. What does that tell you?
It tells me that they need to buff feedback pulse
a little bit more.
They're not spinning fast enough and spamming their spacebar hard enough. Is that what it is?
I see.
So
all right,
gentlemen.
gentlemen.
Something here first, though. Spence, you don't have to apologize for anything. I mean, let's be honest here. We're talking about the bleeding edge of the meta here. And, people are quite within their rights to expect, to ask, expect, and get a certain amount of competency, skill, in order to complete certain levels of the content. So, I get it that people might get upset, or they might say, "Oh, elitists! Oh my God! You're being exclusionary." Yeah, we are, because you know what? People are trying to complete something at the very bleeding edge of the content, and you really should expect and get the best of the best for that. That, doesn't mean that you should feel bad or left out, because there's still plenty of content left for you. For, if you don't make the cut, it doesn't make you any less of a player. So, you know what? Yeah, leave the people who are working on the bleeding edge to do what they want, and just have fun with the game as you enjoy it. Simple as that.
Any other closing remarks from the panel?
Chakotay.
Protius is wrong.
Oh,
Captain
Maybe
is
if
the
you
best.
played
friendship.
Stowe, I might acknowledge your opinion, but no.
oh.
Welcome back, Cam. We missed you.
Dude, you need like another 10 years of playing Stowe to catch up to me.
Oh, the
You
gauntlets have
can't
been
do what I
thrown
do
down.
in a Cytune, so go home.
You know what? I'd actually would like to fully inaugurate Captain SOB into the kinetic community.
Again.
And here is your trophy, sir, with a big torpedo. And if you call for another torpedo nerf, I will shove it right up your rectum.
Wait, Odin is handing Spencer his torpedo. Do you guys need a room?
That's
I
fine,
think
fine.
I'm just
you can
on
nerf
one.
all the torpedoes. You can nerf all the torpedoes. Just leave the energy torpedoes, the anti-proton alone, and the gravimetric, because that's a really nice torpedo. I like that torpedo.
Yeah, I like that one too.
Whatever. All of you. Go away. Go away. Anyway, check out ZEFilms.ca. You'll see all of his videos on there. Support TrekYards. You'll see the Patreon link down on the link in the comment section here on the show. And this is us from the show saying we'll see you out there. Welcome back, Cam. Blow up something. And power creep is real. Check it.